good evening, everybody. Welcome to Fairway to Heaven, right here on DSM Media. We're live, as always, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. You know the drill. Retweet it out on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. Share it out on Facebook. And if you're watching on YouTube, which is the best place to get involved, I can put your comments and questions right up on the screen. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. Now, today was supposed to be a special day. My man, Jason Sullivan, co-founder of Fairway to Heaven, was supposed to make his grand triumphant return. But unfortunately, my main man, Jax, his boy, wasn't feeling too well. So shout out to Jax, my main man. I put out a little post. Like, you know what? I want somebody else to be on the show with me tonight as we talk the memorial, golf, and everything else. And my man, Scott Holdridge here. It's like, yo, I want on. And I was like, dude, sold. So good evening, Scotty, and welcome to the show, my friend.
You know, you're right. It is a special day. It's a special day. I finally get to be on. Thanks for letting me tag along on this, and hope little man's feeling better.
But, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Scott, if you don't know him, guys, Scott's great. He's part of the golf community. He's not part of any. He has no allegiance. He's not a part of a podcast network. He doesn't write or do anything like that. He's a free agent. Is he? You're a free agent? Wow, even better. You know, I got this really great beard. You got the great locks. I wish I could grow my hair like you. But before we talk golf, you know, I want to dissect your Twitter profile here, okay? Because your Twitter profile basically said you're basically a free agent, nothing to do with golf. It's one part guitarist, one part golfer, one part bartender, one part zinger. So first, we got to ask about the guitar stuff. So you're in a band, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah. I've been well, I'm a bartender in San Francisco, so basically it's also you're in a band. That's kind of the resume. But yeah,
what kind of music is your band, and what kind of music do you play?
It's Radiohead. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, white guy on guitar, so it's just sort of blues rocky type of stuff. But I play and listen to a lot of pretty crazy shit. So if anyone ever wants to talk music, I'm always down.
I'm a huge music guy. So I was originally going to be a music major in college. It didn't work out that way. You know, I played piano, I played guitar, a little bit of drums, a little bit of sax and stuff. I'm a huge music fan. So I love to hear, like, if you look at the alerts on my XM radios in my car, like you might see Tupac pop up, you might see Beethoven, you might see Frankie Valli, you might see Smokey Robinson. Like literally the range of music that I listen to in my car. So I love to hear about people's, you know, musical interests, what they're listening to these days, and some of their influences and stuff like that. I love that stuff. So,
yeah, I think probably 95% of my Twitter messaging is music / you know, Hasbullah, you know, memes and just funny stuff. You know, all the golf people I talk to, it's not about golf, which is kind of fun. And I think probably good for them too, talking the same thing all day. But yeah, it's great.
Which golfer, if you were going to go out to a bar to listen to live music, because my favorite thing, I don't go to concerts anymore. I've spent way too much money at Dave Matthews or Billy Joel, like all the big time. I spent way too much money at that. Nowadays, I prefer to go to a local restaurant, hear the local musician jamming out and stuff like that. If you had to pick a golfer to go knock down like 4 beers with and just listen to your favorite local music act, which golfer would it be?
Fuck.
I know. That's a tough one, right?
That is really tough, actually. Probably any Irish or Scottish guy, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, any Irish or Scottish golfer would be a great hang. Or an Aussie. Or a Safa, you know.
Pretty much all of them then, right?
Yeah, I don't know of any like US golfers who I think would be like a good hang, because I feel like they're all just kind of robots, really.
I think originally some of the guys that were part, what was like the boy band called? I think Ricky Fowler was part of it, and
I remember that. Yeah.
10 years ago, before they all started pumping out kids and getting married, I think those guys would have been a lot of fun to hang out with. But I think they're a little too. I don't remember what they were called.
Maybe Hovland. Hovland would be a good hang. He's a big metal.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't know much about their taste, the golf world, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's my niche. That's how I handicap tournaments, by their music taste.
Yeah, absolutely. So real quick to everybody else, Scott, I got to say to you, you know, it's been I do a lot of podcasts. You watch my golf show. You know, you've interacted with me and Jason on Fairway to Heaven for a long time. But I do a lot of other podcasting. And the past week or two has been really tough with everything going on in the world. And I try to keep my shows light, fun, and entertaining. But I've tried to cover some of the serious stuff going on in the world, and it's been really hard on me. And I made a post last week about how tough it's been. And before anybody reached out to me, you were the first person to reach out to make sure I was all right. And I just want to say that meant a lot to me. You reaching out to me last week and just saying, "Yo, it's an effed up world, and I hope you're doing all right." So I appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, I know I'm kind of a smart aleck guy, but especially going on with Buffalo and Texas, like it really. And, I didn't really see a lot of people talking or posting about it, which was that also kind of bummed me out. But the ones that did, I respect and
Dude, I did literally over 2 hours of shows last week just talking about that stuff. And dude, it literally, supposed to be talking Phillies and Sixers or whatever, and Eagles. And I spent 2 hours plus on it, and it literally drained me massively. So
I mean, how can it not? It's been horrible, and there's some great, some pretty powerful stuff we can do, and I think the golf community especially,
absolutely,
because that's what, compared to other kind of sports communities, the golf one I feel has been great and kind of has each other's backs and supports each other. So yeah, always reach out, no matter what it is, and we'll get better and get through it, and hopefully some good change.
I feel like I just sap by thanking you. I feel like I just sapped your energy out a little.
No, it was just, it's so heavy. I mean, I lost a buddy.
I just wanted you to know I appreciated you reaching out to me.
Yeah.
It did mean a lot, because we've never met. We've interacted on social media. We've never even met like on a screen before tonight. So it did mean a lot to me. So
yeah, of course.
We can move on. Let's get to golf. That's what we're here for.
Golf.
We got the Memorial this week up in Dublin, Ohio. The most probably boring town in the world. Anything in Ohio is probably really boring. Muirfield Village. It's got a million nicknames. Jack's Place, Augusta North, whatnot.
The least Dublins. Yeah,
exactly. The least Dublin. I love the Memorial because, to me, I know everybody says the Players' Championship's like the fifth major. I kind of feel like the Memorial is a borderline major, in my opinion, because people show up for it. It's a really tough test. You don't get a weaker field. There's so much that happens with this event, which I'm surprised, because it's smack dab in between two majors.
Right.
So everybody still shows up for it. I love it. I don't know what your thoughts are on the Memorial as a tournament as a whole, the course as a whole.
I'm not a huge, Nicholas fan. But I do respect, the field always comes out, and it's usually a great tournament. I grew up during watching Tigers runs there and some historic famous shots there. So it does have a special place.
Adam with a great one there. I don't know if you watch wrestling, but he thinks you look like one of the wrestlers from the WWE.
Thank you, Adam. I have no idea who that is, but definitely
I know who it is.
I get the worst lookalikes, like people, so I'm nervous to look that person up. I've yet to have a good, like, who you remind me of, or look at and you just go, oh God. So
I'm gonna, while you're talking about Muirfield and Jack Nicklaus and all, I'm bringing up a picture for you, just so you know. I will have an image up on the screen very shortly of this guy.
Right. Really excited.
It's so funny. I'm trying to find a more modern picture of him. Yeah, there's a good one. But for Adam's sake and for Scotty's sake, let's share this screen and see what everybody thinks. Does Scotty look like John Morrison? If you take the glasses off, I think you got it with the glasses. Yeah.
Glasses, complexion, and facial features. Other than that, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, he might have like millions of dollars in the bank. I mean, you might too, but yeah.
Might, please, come on.
Come on now. You still got to bartend and play your musical gig. So
that's my cover. That's my cover.
Yeah, that's your cover right there.
Yeah. So what is this something about the course or just the history of it?
I just like the fact that I don't like weak fields. I get bored when there's two of the top 20 golfers in a field. I just like the fact that people show up for it. And even though it's a tough course, I'm also really anti par 70s because it takes away some of the excitement of par 5s and stuff like that. So those kind of things make me enjoy them more versus last week. Great event last week, Charles Schwab. But I don't know, par 70, tighter courses, it doesn't give you there's no excitement level to it to me. I want people chasing a lead. There's a par 5, there's 2 par 5s, the last 4 holes, they're going to go for it whether they can or not. It creates a little bit more excitement in my opinion. So that's why I like this event. It has nothing to do with Jack Nicklaus style courses or whatnot. I mean, again, like I said, it's in Ohio. I mean, it's got to be boring.
It's got to be special for millionaires to fly to and spend time in. Sorry, I don't want to offend all my millions of Ohio followers, but
dude, I've been to Ohio once, and it was twice, but they were the most boring trips I've ever taken in my life. So.
Oh no.
Well, yeah, I don't even remember one of the towns. My nephew was playing in a college basketball tournament. We took a ride out there about 2 hours south of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Don't remember what the little town was called. It was a little Division III college. Dude, me and my brother, we stayed at a hotel for 3 nights, and literally there was nothing to do. There was one sit-down restaurant in the entire town, I think. And it looked like didn't look like it hadn't been updated since like 1971. So,
retro. I like it.
And then I went to Ohio State for a weekend to party. And that was a good time. Didn't realize how much of a dump that town was outside of the college, though. So, sorry.
That's a lot of towns. You'd be surprised in California is pretty like where I grew up was super rural and hick, and you go outside of any major city, it's pretty rough.
You're talking to the guy. If you're talking about Hicks, you're talking about the guy that lives in the mushroom capital of the world. So basically, I'm just surrounded by mushroom farms everywhere. So I live in Hickville. So
gotcha.
So if you want to look up something funny after the show, Scotty, look up Kennett Square and the mushroom drop, because we're in such a town that we actually have a big giant mushroom wrapped in diamonds and lights that drops from the sky on New Year's Eve.
I wouldn't want it any other way.
Well, except for the fact that when they turn the manure that grows the mushrooms, it smells like ass every single day, especially in 95-degree weather like today. It smelled like crap basically the entire day in our town. So I know what Hickvilles look like. I live in one right now.
Got you.
All right, we're back to golf here. Your golf. What's your strategy when you're doing fantasy golf? Because nobody's ever, none of the people that watch the show regularly, they haven't seen you. What's your strategy like on a typical day or week when you're building your player pool, your lineups? What are you looking for in golfers?
It can vary tournament to tournament, and then maybe picking different contests too, also depending on the week or the tournament. So yeah, it depends, but I'm always kind of, as soon as the prices drop, I kind of go first feels and then dig into some data and then think game theory, and then a lot of pivots and kind of that type of vibe. And I like to listen to all the narratives out there and then kind of write. Yeah, I think a lot of it's just write your own narrative, stick with it, and whatever your player pool is, shrink it. I don't care what contest, how many lineups, cut it down as much as possible and play the long game. This is anything else. It's a game. So you're going to plateau. Like right now, I feel like I'm at a plateau with just, my winnings, my profits, my losses with it, but just kind of being okay and comfortable with the plateau and knowing like, yeah, I'm going to get better and I'm going to have breakthroughs, but just enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it's key because like you're saying you're plateauing right now. And shout out Drew, man. Thanks for checking in, man. This guy's one of the best right here.
Oh Drew, man, Drew, I love Drew. Check out. He's a great dude.
Him and Rob do great work on their show on The Approach, man. I absolutely love it. And you talking about game theory. We're going to talk about that in a second.
Those are two guys I owe a lot to, man. Those so good to me too.
I actually worked. I realized last year and the year before when I started doing it, I was taking in too much input on a weekly basis. And I was taking, input from 19 different podcasts and authors and trying to find the thing. I tried to find, like, I think it's very important. You said the long game. And that's what I've come up with a strategy that works for me. And yes, like right now I'm on a heater outside of last week, which last week may have been my worst week ever in the 3 years I've done fantasy golf.
Yeah.
But outside of that, the last 4 to 5 weeks, I mean, I've turned bigger profits than ever before. But I know that there's going to be that where, bottom out going to happen. But once you find a system that works for you, stick with it and know that there's going to be a lot of, it's not like fantasy football. It's totally different. You're going to have those ups. You're going to have those downs. Stick to your system if it works. I think that's really important and all.
It's just small tweaks. It's literally like anything else. It's learning something new. It's, for me, I equate it to like learning an instrument or learning a new song or, trying to learn something to change your golf swing. It's, people don't understand, like, it's literally like, it's just time and reps and just enjoy it. Yeah.
Exactly. And enjoy it also. That's
like, this is fun. This is like it's such an absurd thing. It's like, okay, I'm betting on strangers to make me money in a thing that, it's just like, it's crazy. It's ridiculous.
You're absolutely spot on.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like, so how can you get mad at that? You can't get mad at that.
Well, people do get mad. When their bets are lose, man, people tear athletes apart, man. It's brutal and boggles my mind.
I get mad at people who can do a thing I could never achieve, which is, like, what? This is stupid.
That's why I was having a conversation with somebody else, and they were like, well, why do you bet so small? I'm like, dude, because if I started betting hundreds of dollars per golfer or doing, $500 worth of lineups a week, dude, it takes the fun out of it. So I have my, it's not just about controlling your wins and losses, how much you bet. It's, dude, once you get to a certain level, it's not fun anymore. So you got to kind of try to keep it to a level where it's going to be fun as well.
I mean, that's what, all the people I talk to, it's like, we don't talk about golf. We're just catching up, how's things. And, when it's all consuming, I could get how that could be a burnout. Yeah.
Absolutely. It could be a burnout. And that's why we try to have fun with it and all. But we are trying to have good information on this show too. So let's talk this week. I think Jon Rahm, I still call him the 2-time defending champ. I know nobody has mentioned it once. We are the first podcast all week to mention Jon Rahm was unofficially the winner last week. I guarantee we were the first people to say it.
That's funny.
But Jon Rahm is the 2-time defending champ in my mind. Jon Rahm is perfect at this course. He absolutely loves this course. I still remember the heartbreak when he got that news coming off the 18th green last year in the 3rd round. I still remember it. And I think that's why I got into it with a bunch of people where I said Patrick Cantlay didn't deserve, to win the playoffs last year and stuff like that. I just think it was really because I was bitter that he won by default last year.
Yeah,
I think this tournament.
So many people were bitter, and I think that's just kind of like the Jon Rahm kind of fans, is because his kind of closure rate versus his betting odds versus his salary don't really match up. Mm-hmm. So I think since the Memorial last year and just all his kind of close calls where it's like, oh yeah, the data all says this, but it's like, not in the win column.
Yeah.
But
so this week, I mean, there's 5. Like I said, it's a pretty stacked card. It's got major field of the type of players that are in this event. Down the board, you get those discounts because it's a stronger field on some good quality golfers. Yeah. We always start at the top of the board here. You got 5 names in the top of the board: Rahm, McIlroy, Cantlay, Morikawa, and Xander. I'm looking at it this week because of the field as a stars and scrub. I'm trying to find 2 or 3 guys in the top end of this board, even if you're taking in the 9K into that range, 2 or 3 guys to really lock into and play a lot of, and then match them up with the bottom end of the board. Is there 1 or 2 names at this top end that you really love this week?
I think if you were doing that build, like if you're trying to grab 1 or 2 here, like I'm all in on the 9K, but at the 10K, the ones I like, I think Rahm's going to be huge, Cantlay, Morikawa, but I don't know if Xander's overpriced or like what's he doing in the 10K other than he's got great course history, but he doesn't have huge win equity just overall. but I think that might be a good pivot.
Okay.
I might go Xander or Rory. Because the other three, I mean, last year, year before, those are all the guys that check all the boxes for this specific tournament with course history and all that. But I think Xander Rory might be actually my two that I would play if I'm playing anyone up there.
Yeah, well, I absolutely I love Rory this week. I think Rory is like he will be the guy. Like I'm probably gonna. I had a rule earlier this year, and I'm getting back to it now. So my rule earlier this year was play John Rahm every single week, and then just worry about the ownership and just make sure you pick the winner of the tournament to pair with them. That was my rule. When I hit what's his name, I think it was who won earlier this year. Was it Luke List won earlier?
Luke List, yeah, Torrey.
Yeah, Luke List and John Rahm. As long as you had those paired together, literally 10 of the top 11 lineups in the 20 max all had those guys. So as long as you pick the winner and you play John Rahm, it's gonna pay off. So John Rahm will get play for me, but I love Rory McIlroy this week. I think he's a perfect type of golfer that could win this event this week.
Yeah.
And just a shout out to the guy that was trying to troll me earlier this week. I said I'm all in on Rory McIlroy. But yes, that doesn't mean he's my only bet and my only play. It's just I'm putting most of my equity into Rory McIlroy this week, people. It does not mean I can't bet or play anybody else. I love Rory McIlroy.
Worst comes to worst, play Rory in Showdown on Saturday if he's out of contention. That's the move.
Absolutely. Rory on Saturdays and Sundays in Showdowns are absolute studs.
Yeah.
I love Showdowns. I don't play round one Showdowns like some people.
Yeah, I mean,
2, 3, and 4, I absolutely love. I guarantee I will win a Showdown this year. I am going to take a first place. I guarantee it. I've had at least 7 or 8 top 3s this year, and a dozen more top 5s in Showdowns. I love Showdowns. I absolutely love them. So I'm actually considering dropping back how much I invest for the 4 rounds. I have more money to invest in Showdowns in my weekly budget because I love them. It's actually surprising. You're talking about pivoting off of and playing Xander, and I don't know where you get your information from, like what websites you go to. We're partnered here with Fantasy National Golf Club at Fantasy National, fantasynational.com. Make sure you check them out. Make sure you send a little message if you check them out after this show, guys. Let them know Fairway to Heaven sent them your way or their way. Surprisingly, Xander right now, according to Fantasy National's ownership percentages, is the highest ranked guy in the top 10K in ownership percentage projections right now.
Probably because he's the lowest price, and they're kind of everyone's thinking the same. That's interesting.
He's right now at 18% projections.
Yeah, if that might disperse a little all over in the 10.
Obviously, you always wait till Saturday or Wednesday afternoon to really figure that out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm more all 9K this week. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, the 9K is great because I don't know which one you like the best. Cam Smith is a guy that I talked about at the beginning of the season. I was just going to bet and play Cam Smith every single week. Mm-hmm. For some reason, I kind of feel like this is the week to maybe get off of Cam Smith. But then that's breaking my rule, and I don't like breaking rules. My gambling rules I don't like to break.
Yeah, I think.
Where are you with this 9K range, or where are you with Cam Smith first off in this 9K range?
I mean, not the thing that people don't like about him is not the course history here, but I think I don't know. He's a great pivot. His approach numbers are insane. I think he's technically.
He's in the last 24 rounds. He's 1 on approach.
Yeah.
He's 3rd shots gained total, 2nd shots gained par 5, 12th putting, 12th tee to green. I mean, literally outside of his off the tee number, his off the tee number is the only thing that's not above average in the last 24 rounds.
Yeah, I think
his perfect other than his course history.
Yeah, which I mean, I view course history as he's obvious. I mean, I think that's not necessarily the finishing position, but do you actually have course history? And some of these guys, like, I don't think Mito's ever played here. There's some big golfers that are getting a lot of steam, but they have like 0 experience, where I think he's played it twice. He's a different player now. And, Jack designs second shot golf courses, and with his short game and his putting, it's a good pivot.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
so
you might have reconvinced me to put him back onto my never skip kind of list here.
well, you can't break your rules, remember?
Well, I don't like to break, because when you break the rules, like I said after the Masters, I said I was always going to play Rahm and always and try to find the winner to pair with him. I also said I was never going to not play Scotty Scheffler anymore. I didn't play Scotty Scheffler. I had literally zero investment in Scotty Scheffler last week. I know he ended up falling apart in the fourth round, in the final round, but there's a reason why out of counting showdowns, I had close to 30 lineups last week, and I mid-cashed in one of them. And that was it. It's really hard to not cash in 29 out of 30 lineups. It's really hard to do that.
That's what my last 2 weeks have been similar. Like all my 6 of 6s have not cashed. And a lot of that's like
I didn't have a single 6 for 6 last week. Not one. And it was so easy. I had literally 0 6 for 6s last week.
I think that's going to be the same this week because the field is so deep. But also because anytime you see the word invitational, that means it's going to be more people make the cut. So you are going to get more 6 of 6s. So some stuff's not going to cash, which can be frustrating. But
you say you love this 9K range. Which guys do you love in this 9K range a lot?
I mean, anytime Hideki's playing, I'm going to play him. He's similar. He's kind of my John Rahm for a lot of people, or Rory, Xander, all that. I think he's so underrated. He's Absolutely so fucking good. And people rag on his putting, but putting's the most volatile club or stat. So he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And
one of the few people in this field that have multiple top 15s in the last couple of years playing this event. There's not too many guys. So not only is he underrated, but he's great at this course.
Yeah, and kind of one of the narratives I'm doing is I'm like fading putting. So all I'm looking at is people that are total driving, because I think accuracy is more important than they think for this tournament, because you got to be able to hit your lines and hit your spots to have a good approach shot coming in. And that's just screams Hideki. He's long enough. He's accurate enough. His approach is insane. He's an amazing, underrated chipper pitcher of the ball. And he just needs a couple putts to drop. And he's a machine.
It's crazy how underrated he is price-wise, ownership-wise in every event.
All the time.
Right now, he's projected at 13%. And everything says play Hideki.
Yeah, but nobody. It's just not. I don't know. I kind of wonder that with players. Like, it's just not the sexy, cool pick because he's just a quiet, goes about his business dude, and people want to go the other way. And I don't know. Yeah,
you would think. I don't think I've ever played I mean, single entries or showdowns maybe, but I do the 20 max entry, the $1.
Yeah,
that's my go-to event. I don't think I've ever seen him anywhere near 20% or over 20% owned.
Yeah.
I don't. He gets that 12 to 14% max. Some weeks he's down to 8 or 9%.
Yeah.
It's kind of disrespectful to an extent.
He's probably top 3 players that I'll watch every shot. And especially in that, you think of the win equity too, just as an outright, if you can get him in a top 20 bet, top 40, anything, it's always take him. He's just the consummate professional, and he's always trying to, even when he doesn't have it, make a cut. He's had some injury concerns, but it's also, if he's in a tournament, he's not fucking around. And I mean,
he's not Matt Wolfing withdrawing before he tees off on the first hole.
Right. You know what I mean? It's I'll take him anywhere, any tournament. I don't care. He's my guy.
Okay.
Famous
other guys, yeah. Is that the guy that you're playing mostly, or you got another guy? I mean, I mean, Cam Smith, I'm on the fence whether I should break my rule or not, but I love Hideki and I love Matt Fitzpatrick in this range. They're my number in this range.
I have such a soft spot for Fitzy.
Dude, everyone calls him a top 20 machine. You can't call him a top 20 machine anymore. You got to call him a top 10 machine.
Yeah.
The guy is right there with Decky and underappreciated, underrated golfers, especially in the fantasy golf world.
Yeah. He wears Skechers and has braces. It's unbelievable. You're my favorite all time, man. Just a little English guy with braces and Skechers, just top 10ing.
What's wrong with Skechers? I wear Skechers to work. I got a bad back, man. I gotta watch what I put on my feet, man.
I know. We're in the same industry. It's tough.
I'm old, man. I got my waterproof Skechers. I wear them to work all the time, man. They don't look good, but man, they make my back not want to fall into pieces and everything. So don't knock the Skechers.
No, okay. I love them.
Yeah.
I think in the 9K, I think a lot of people will go probably Lowry. Everyone's on Zalatoris. I think Spieth at 9.7, where my play this week is fading putting, even though historically he's an unreal putter. His putting stats are bad, but his off the tee approach and around the green is off the charts this year. Mm-hmm. And if he's okay putting, he's T10 for sure. So yeah, I mean, you could realistically, I mean,
do you do that whole not pay attention to putting thing very often?
No, I mean, because
I don't think I've ever put, like, I don't live by my model. I mean, I make a model every week. It helps me, form a base plan. And I put the putting in my model with a 0% weight, just so I can see the stats. Last week is the first week I ever put putting in my model, and I had my worst week ever. So I kind of reaffirmed that I should be putting putting in my model. I just keep it off to the side so that I can see if I'm struggling between, say, a Spieth and a Zalatoris or whatever. Then I look, is putting going to make a difference or not? But I kind of keep it off to the side a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, putting for me is more eye test. Like when I'm watching golfers, and if I get to like really sit down and watch a couple rounds at a tournament, I'm more that, less of the stats. So when I'm looking at the board and thinking of the course, that's how I kind of think of putting, not necessarily as the stat itself, if that makes sense. So like historically, Cam Smith, Spieth are amazing putters. Spieth right now, the stats aren't going to show it, but at the same time, like, that's still in there. You know what I mean? Like,
because I've heard a lot of people talk about that for like 10 straight weeks now, that Spieth's eventually going to get back to it. And he just doesn't seem to.
But he's still, I mean,
last week, how many short putts did he miss last week?
Yeah, but then, 2 weeks prior, he won a tournament. So it's kind of like, in our man, Drew Ward, famous quote, putting travels. And if you are a good putter and that's the kind of like narrative and thing you're going for, don't budge. But for me this week, personally, it's like, I'm not looking at it from a data site, but I am looking at it from, okay, I know I think they're a good putter based on eye test and history. They might not be right now, but overall it's like, I'm going total driving approach around the green and picking from there.
Yeah, I mean, my model, I did 60% of my model was off the tee approach and tee to green. It's funny, I didn't even realize this as you're talking about putting. The top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, top 8 priced guys on DraftKings, 3 of them are the worst in the field at putting.
Yeah, so which shows you like
are all the bottom 15, 20 of putting in this field.
What's surprising is the range below. Like you'll see, like Fitzpatrick's a great putter, Spieth's a great putter, but where they'll rank isn't necessarily. But if you go down, like I know we'll get to the 8K, like Keegan Bradley is charting out as like a good putter now, and he's a horrible putter.
Awful putter. He is
ranked. So kind of like
24 rounds. He's 22nd in putting in this field. That is
if someone sees that, they're like, oh shit. And I mean, I'm all over Keegan this week because of those other categories, but at the same time, if you're going like, nah, his putter's hot, it's like, is it?
Hold on, let's see Keegan here because you want to talk Keegan. Let's see here. He's gained in the last 5 tournaments he's played, and he's gained strokes. Last 10, he's barely gained strokes. But if you go back last 20 or so, he's lost so much. Even though he's gaining strokes, it's because of the Wells Fargo. He gained almost 10 strokes putting at the Wells Fargo. Right. But last week, the PGA Championship, he lost strokes. The Valero, he finished 8th. He lost strokes putting. The Players Championship, everyone lost strokes, period, everywhere. I mean, then before that, he went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight events losing strokes putting, and he had a 12th and an 11th mixed in there.
But now at the same time, like you said, it's like, oh, this is the 22nd best putter in the field. It's like, no, he's not.
That's why I tell people that models help and the stats help, but it's sometimes kind of important to look more detailed into specifics about it than just, all right, well, this guy finished third in my model, I got to play him no matter what.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's go to that 8K range if you're done with the 9K, because I love the 8K.
What do you got? Talk to me.
Oh, the 8K. I mean, you got everybody probably going to be 1 or 2 or 3 in most people's models. You got Cam Young, who's going to win at some point. You got Max Homa, who's a totally different player. My favorite recent player, and it's crazy because his price. Some guys price catches up to their play quickly. Sometimes it doesn't. Davis Riley is playing out of his mind lately, and his price actually caught up to him. So I love that. And then I'm hoping in the 8K range that his one missed cut recently kind of kills, because he's the most chalky golfer always. It's Corey Connors. But maybe a missed cut recently maybe knocks him down a touch. I mean, I love all those guys. I literally love 4 or 5 guys in this range.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of.
I love them all.
Who are, if you had to pick, because like we were talking about earlier, like shrinking your player pool.
Yeah. Well, Cam Young, if he stays under 20% projections, I don't care. I'm going to play him because he is going to win an event at some point. So I'm going to play Cam Young if he stays under that 20%. I don't want to miss that win. And I think I kind of feel the same way with Davis Riley. I don't want to miss the win. Davis Riley's pretty low on the projection chart still. I think his price going up to 8,600. He's only 11%. I'm going to play a lot. I got outright bets on Cam Young and Riley as well. So I love both those guys this week. If Corey Connors is now under 10, he's now at 9.1 projection on ownership. If he stays there, he's going to get an awful lot of clicks from me. Awful lot of clicks.
I mean, I think
9%.
I think that's out of this range. I'm more on. I think M, because he plays a lot, and when he doesn't play, people kind of forget about him. I'm on M. He doesn't have great course history, but he checks all my kind of narrative boxes. I got Berger, even though I can't. The way people talk about Spieth's pre-shot routine, like that's how I feel about Berger's swing. But
how is that?
Time, he puts the ball in the hole.
Berger's borderline dead to me at this point. He's burned me a lot lately.
Yeah.
I love Daniel Berger. I had like preseason outrights on him, or futures on him for a bunch of events. I love Daniel Berger, but man, he is kicking my ass this year.
Yeah, I think there might have been. I heard rumors of a caddy change or something. Okay. And then I saw some stuff last week, like similar to Morikawa, where it's sort of people were on them last week and they might have been a week early. Okay. Because I could see Berger doing some damage. I also got Seamus. He's a good pivot. He has no course history here, but he's just kind of a, I'm not in this for looking cool. I'm in this for like making money, and he doesn't wow you with stuff, but at the same time, like he's changed. He's gotten to another level this past year. Like,
absolutely agree with you. I mean,
he's in the top 10s this year, which is like, holy shit, who knew? It's like 35, late bloomer. I get it. All right.
Well, but it's up to you to convince, because like literally I start out with about 35 names in my player pool. And then it's between my process is doing the show and listening to other content, and that's why I trim it down. The pre-player pool, the not confirmed, Seamus Power's in it, but I'm on the fence on him. I think he's a great pivot. I think he's got certain things that fit really well. He's a great putter. At least lately he has been. I don't know. It's on somebody like you to convince me that I should be bumping maybe Corey Connors down, or bumping out Max Homa and putting someone like Seamus Power in my player pool this week. That's on you.
Oh, don't put that on me, dude.
It's up. The pressure's on you. It's up to you to convince me to take somebody I like out and put somebody I like a borderline on in.
Yeah, I think from a draft fantasy perspective, I'm going just all pedigree and history. Like, I'm not trying on an outright to be there for the first win with a Young or a Riley or even a Willie Z or Mito. So I'm just going with, in the 8K, I always kind of stick to, who's been there before and who has win equity. And I think for me, it's like, I love Neiman because his around the green flip he's done in this past year is sort of like what Kokrak did with the putter, where it's like, hey, Kokrak couldn't putt. All of a sudden, he's an amazing putter, knocks out 3 wins. Like Jocko winning at Riv, horrible around the greens. All of a sudden, he's one of the best. So I kind of like that. And at 83, it's sort of that's a good move. And then Keegan's kind of my boring safe play.
Keegan's dead to me on the betting circle.
Yeah.
Because I bet him first round leader so many times. And I tell myself I'm never betting first round leader, period, anymore because of Keegan. And I literally think I've had 3 or 4 times he's finished in second place after the first round when I've had a first round bet on him. So he's literally the reason why I don't bet first round leaders anymore.
Gotcha.
So, but playing wise, Keegan, everybody hates Keegan. They don't like him because they don't like his personality. But dude, I want to make money. I don't really care about you. That's why I'm such a big Patrick Reed fan. I tend to like the guys that everybody else hates. Just because, nobody likes me. So why should I worry about, I don't worry about it. So, why do I worry when you don't like a golfer? You know what I mean? So,
that was good.
All right. So, what were you gonna say?
So M, Neiman, Bradley, sprinkle in some Berger. Those are my guys.
Okay. They're all literally all the names. They weren't the names I named, but they were all also starred. Because I literally got so many names starred right now in that 8K range because I don't know. Sometimes getting that 6K guy wins you an event. But I think that if you're playing 20 a max entry into a thing, getting the 8K range right is the difference between not necessarily winning a GPP, but it's where you make sure you're cashing in a lot of lineups if you get the right 2 or 3 guys right in that range.
All right, so shrinking your player pool, full fade, Riley or Young? Who are you doing?
I'm fading Young and keeping Riley in my player pool, even though Cam Young is number 1 in my model. Absolutely, I actually think we've got a higher ceiling of Davis Riley winning than Cam Young. You're more likely to get a lock of a 3rd to a 5th place from Young, but Davis Riley could be 1st place and finish in 30th place.
Why not? I like that.
5% difference in ownership.
Give
me Davis Riley. Davis Riley. I'm really excited when I saw the prices drop, and I saw Riley at 8,600. I was excited because I'm like, that's perfect. That's going to keep people off Davis Riley.
All right.
All right. 7K. I just mentioned because everybody hates him. Patrick Reed. So I want to talk 2 names in the 7K range. Not whether they're good fits or not or whatnot, but Patrick Reed played really well last week. He's obviously stunk, for a while now. And Ricky Fowler has now made a couple cuts in a row, had some good finishes.
There we go.
Which one of those two is closer to being back? And which one do you hate more as a person?
I weirdly hate Fowler more than Reed, even though I can't stand Reed. I love Reed because he's just an absurd human being.
Yeah.
Like, just pretty awful. Fowler I just can't stand, dude. It's just like, dude, you missed your window. You didn't go hard enough. You have a production company? Like, he has a production company. It's like,
I didn't even know that.
Like, dude, like, go fucking win a major.
Go win a golf tournament. Not even just a major, just a golf tournament.
Like, I can't do it. Like, come on. Like, go live with Butch Harmon for a year. I'd dare you not to do a commercial for like a week. And it's just like, the outfits and everything. It's like, oh my God, over it.
I hate the colors. I do. He hasn't won it. I was just curious when the last time he won a tournament was. I couldn't remember. It was 2019, January of 2019, before the real season even got started.
Yeah.
And before that, 2017. So since 2017, he's won 1 time.
Yeah.
That's bad.
It's
he hasn't had a second place finish since 2019.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I remember he almost had a shot at the one. Shit, who won that? I think it was Rory. The one in Vegas, the CJ Cup or something. And he's like posting about drinking boba tea. It's like, why don't you go fucking work on your putting for tomorrow? Like, what are you doing? Are you kidding me?
Oh man. You sound like Philadelphia Phillies and baseball and Eagles fans.
Yeah.
When their athletes aren't doing Joe Girardi's losing the Phillies locker room because out there doing balls in the sun on the field today.
Anytime he shoots like 71, people are just like, man, I like him at Brookline. Like, what? It's like,
so
I get it. if a guy showed up like me and you were playing and they're like, hey, we got a third for you, and he showed up in like that hat, those shades, that golf ball, I'd be like, dude, you go ahead. We're good. We're just going to be shooting the shit. Like, what? He's like a caricature of himself. Like, I just can't.
Yeah, he's become.
You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. That's a spot on. He's become a character of himself.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I've heard nothing but like people that met him. They're like, he's a good dude, signs autographs. Like, yeah, I get it. That's awesome. But
I mean, he's making the money. That's all I care about. You know, if I was him, like my bank account's flush, yours isn't. Who cares?
Totally. And I mean, it's fine, but just like the fanboying on it is just like it's hard to. Like that golf ball. Have you seen that fucking thing? It's like, how much money do you want? Like, win money by winning a tournament. Do it that way.
Absolutely agree with you.
All right, so
you're not on Ricky Fowler this week. Is
just to be clear, my 3-minute rants. Yeah, I am fading Ricky Fowler. Sorry about that. That's been pent up.
He's on the potential player pool, but your hatred for Ricky Fowler has just convinced me not to play Ricky Fowler this week. Although I can't take it back. I already made 100-1 bet on him to win outright.
Phil,
it was a small bet. Small.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I mean, I didn't realize he hasn't had a third place finish since 2019. So maybe his stretch of bad play is a lot longer than I thought. So I mean, before this show, I was writing for a website, Golf. Since before I started covering golf, since he's had a third place finish. Damn, that's bad. I think I can withdraw my bet. If I withdraw my bet, then he goes on to win, then I'm going to want money from you.
Oh, so, you will be like, Scotty, I'm coming to your house to beat the shit.
I want money right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you like anybody in the 7K range?
Yeah, I like Horschel coming off a miscut. I think that might be a good play. He's had a great year. He's also his win at Wentworth, the BMW in Europe. That I weirdly have I could be way off, but I think there's some course correlation with that. It's not the longest course. It's got some rough. Greens can be lightning. Good field. Similar vibes there. Alex Noren, I always love. Cam Davis is kind of he's at 72. He's a great pivot off of Ricky. CT Pan, I got a little bit of Straka, but not so much. I think a lot of people are going to go Hogue. Cooch has amazing history here, but I'm looking for leverage here and possible equity. So this is sort of miscut or top 20.
Yeah, I'm all over CT Pan. I do like him a lot this week as well.
Yeah.
Same names like you. I like Noren this week and Kuchar and Horschel. I want to like Wise and I want to like Kirk, but I don't think. I mean, like Davis Riley, his prices come up. Kirk and Wise are still pretty cheap, and their owners, their chances of winning in this price range versus what their ownership percentage is, it just doesn't feel right to me. Those guys, like some people love them. They've had some good events this year, and they've had some really strong finishes. But they've been in contention, quote unquote, on the leaderboard? But have they ever really been in contention?
That also seems weird. I mean, just look at this. Like Chris Kirk is next to Siwoo Kim, who's like, awesome here. Jason Day lives here. Aaron Wise is like, okay, but that just seems weird to me. Like, look at this win equity. Like Reed, Kuchar, Horschel, even Leishman here is good. Like, they're $100 apart. Like, that's, you got to think about that.
Let's just look at the ownership percent right now. And again, these ownership percentages are going to change so much. All those names you just named, Kirk's 15%. I'm rounding up like 0.1 there, 14.9. 15%. Siwoo Kim, 9.5. Leishman, 5.5. Kuchar 10, Horschel 5%. Why would you play Kirk? What are the odds that Kirk's really going to? At 15%, you want Kirk to win.
That was some good perspective there.
Yeah, I just don't see because I've fallen trapped to the Kirk and the Wise thing for a little while now. And the last couple of weeks, I started thinking, why am I so into these guys? When are they going to win this event? And at their price and ownership, they kind of need to win or at least be top 5. I don't think they've really truly been in contention.
Yeah.
Even though,
I mean, Chris Kirk, he was big last week. He's going to be big this week. He might model out well, and hey, it's a golf team.
Kirk and Wise are 11th and 13th in my model. He finished the PGA, Kirk.
But as you said, though, like in the beginning of this, this is a big boy field. This is a big boy tournament, and who's going to be standing Sunday? Like,
finished 5th at the PGA, 5th at the Arnold Palmer, 7th at the Honda. But I don't remember ever looking and being like, because I remember at least at the probably at the Arnold Palmer or the Honda, I probably had an outright on Chris Kirk. But I never remember going and being like, oh man, I'm sweating this one. He might win.
Right.
He finished in 5th place. I just don't see the value in playing those guys. And I might be wrong, but I think
Kirk peaked. I mean, he like, it was a great story last year. He was the one, got a hole in one and kept his card and all that. And he's had a great run with some top fives and stuff, but can you see Chris Kirk winning the Memorial against,
Hell, I don't know. I got to look it up. I'm bringing him up right now because he's only at 5% owned. But I want to look up what his Memorial history is here real quick. He's got some really good. I mean, I'd rather play Gary Woodland even at 7,400 than those guys. I mean, 5% owned. I mean, he's got some missed cuts. He's got some good finishes. I mean, I want guys in this range that are at least going to give me a shot at winning. Hell, I think Ricky Fowler's got a better shot at winning than Chris Kirk. He's got also a better chance of missing the cut. He's got a better chance of missing the cut than Chris Kirk.
You say that name.
But I'm just saying, at this range, don't you want guys that have some chance at winning?
Yeah. I mean, I also got Knox. I love me some sweet swinging Scots. Always. Fuck. I'm such a sucker for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Norin, all that. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. All right. So I like to call myself the 6K Whisperer. And almost every single week, I pull out a random guy that I think is going to do well. Look, all you got to do as a 6K Whisperer is make the cut. That's all you got to do. You don't even have to win. You just got to make the cut. Because this is not, you can't pick somebody at 6,900 as your 6K Whisperer.
Right.
It's got to be a bottom barrel type guy.
Legit.
It's got to be a legit, like 663. There's got to be the max there. I got one this week, and he's missed 9 of his last 10 cuts.
Perfect.
So I want to know if you had to pick one guy at the bottom of this field. We can talk about the rest of the 6K if you like any of them.
I got some. I was going to get your thoughts on a few.
Yeah, but I want to hear your 6K Whisper pick of the week. If you had to pick a guy at the bottom of this board that you would love.
Fuck.
Mine's pretty predictable, actually.
There might be a Charles Howell sighting.
Ooh, is this a Charles Howell corpse?
Yeah.
Because I say last year, if Charles Howell's in the field and it's a Charles Howell course, you have to play Charles Howell. He is.
I mean, he's a horrible putter, around the green stud. Yeah. Just a crusty veteran, like just makes cuts and leaves town.
Well, he's missed 2 of his last 3 cuts at this event, but he has made 6 of the 8 times the cut he's played here. You may have just added Charles Howell to my board. You may have. I love Charles Howell.
Oh, I got to shout out Lukey Donald, always. That's been like a great running joke.
Anytime the course is under 7,200 yards, it's a Luke Donald course. Once it gets to 7,500, I kind of got to take Luke Donald off the board.
All right. I also had, actually, all 3 of these guys, Alex Smalley, Naismith, and Howell.
Yep.
And then I had EVR in there, too.
Naismith and EVR are on my maybe list for sure. But all right, so this guy in his last 8 times playing this event.
Sorry. Yeah.
In the last 8 times playing this event, he's got a 30. We're going backwards. So 2021, we're starting at 37th, 44th, 7th, missed cut, win, 33rd, 24th, 19th in this event. Do you know who I'm talking about here?
They won it 3 years ago?
4 years ago, he won it here. I think I already took it off the screen so I could see the rest of his stuff. But recently, he's got a miscut, 28th, miscut, 40th, miscut. Going all the way back to Bermuda last year. He's literally only made 2 cuts in his last
legend
14 events.
It's not Molinari.
No. The Duff Man. Duff Beer. JC 6,100. All I need Jason Duffner to do is to make the cut. And I'm telling you, Jason Duffner is making the cut this week.
Great iron player. I mean, historically, yeah, he can.
Historically.
Historically.
Not lately, but historically.
Okay.
Yeah. Somehow, in 9 of the last 10 missed cuts, he's got a 1.5 ownership projection, which is insane. But it's because he's got great tournament history.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn. Oh, Snedeker is at 61. Shank. Adam Shank. He in your pool at all?
He was my guy last year, man. I was all over Adam Shank every time he was in the field.
Yeah.
All right. Get back up to the top of the 6K or the realistic 6K plays.
Yeah.
You said, which guys are you looking at here in this range?
When I first saw it, I had EVR 66.
Like him a lot.
Yeah, he's a good iron player.
He loves big player fields too.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the Tour Championship last year, so he's comfortable in a good field. He's got major experience. He's gonna go. I think he missed a cut. I think last week before, but
a few cuts lately.
He's got some good. His tee to green can pop, and he might fade on Sunday, but I think he played really well at Spieswin RSM. You know, tree lined, hit the fairway, hit the green, see what happens.
Not concerned about him missing 3 of his last 4 cuts?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Well, I mean, I like him this week. I'm trying. You're helping me convince me to play him. That's what it is, because he's on the main pool list there. So,
I mean, the people that Hughes has a great short game. Hadwin's going to get a lot of attention. Damon, I'm fading that. Stallings has played great, but he's played a lot lately. Champ, people might go there.
Yeah, I don't know. I had a role, or I played Champ at the Masters. He was my 6K whisperer, and I'm like, anytime driving distance matters, longer courses, just play him or play Bryson, play those guys, see if they can bomb and gouge a course. But then that worked at the Masters, and it hasn't worked since. So I don't know. I'm kind of off on Champ because I actually think he's got something wrong with his wrist or something. You see it taped up a lot. You see him flexing his hand a lot lately, and that concerns me. I got a lot of wrist and hand issues. And when I see people going like this and trying to flex their wrists out on a golf course, it kind of scares me a little bit.
Shit. Well, that's all I do when I play.
Well, yeah, me too, because I got a million issues. So these are the names I had started.
Drew will help you.
Yeah. These were the names I had starred. We overlapped on a bunch of them. I had Streelman and Vegas starred. I think they're going to be pretty high owned for 6K range guys. I had EVR. I had Glover. I kind of liked Lucas Glover a little bit this week. Neesmith, Smalley.
Glover's had a crazy good year run. I think he won at John Deere. He's kind of had a resurgence. A lot of
top 25 at the PGA, 30th at the Masters. I mean, you're not looking for guys that are. I mean, it would be great if they win, but these guys in this price range, top 20 for a guy at 60 whatever. What's he, Glover? 65. That's great.
Yeah,
he scored great on par 5s. And to me, I think par 5 scoring in an event like this, it's not going to be minus 20. It's going to be minus 13, minus 14. You got 4 par 5s. Guys that could score on those par 5s are going to be really crucial this week. And he's 7th in the field in the last 24 rounds. So that was kind of what.
Yeah, he kind of fits checks all the boxes. Mm-hmm. Good off the tee, good approach, can hang around the greens, and who knows what will happen with putting.
All right, so I like to kind of mess around with lineups and just see what happens. I haven't built any lineups yet, none. So I want to build a lineup or two, and I just want to get your opinion on: am I going the right direction? Am I going in the wrong direction? And just kind of see where I'm at right now. So, like I said, I want to do stars and scrubs type lineups, and normally stars and scrubs 10K and 6K. I'm considering a lot of guys in the 9K stars as well. So I want to see if I could build a logical lineup with 3 guys above 9K all in my lineup and see if it works. So
you want to start at the bottom?
I actually want to start at the top to see where I'm left out this time.
Okay.
I don't even know if this is possible, what I want to do here. I want to put Matthew Fitzpatrick and John Rahm in a lineup and see what that leaves me with.
Yeah.
Can I get Hideki in there? That leaves me with 6,800.
Let's go.
So that means I can play Glover, 65. And I'm already back over 7K. So that means I can play Eric and Rowan, who I like. and then that leaves me with 7,500. So that means I could play Ricky Fowler, no, CD Pan. So is this, if you were entering this lineup, would you feel comfortable entering this lineup, or should I be tweaking this a little bit here? Am I going too heavy in this 6K and 7K range here?
So you have Rahm, Fitzy. Sorry, my laptop's
Rahm, Fitz, Decky, guys. Which I'm what we're going to do is I'm going to pull Rahm out and put somebody else in a second and see how much that saves me in a lineup build. Rahm, Decky, Fitz with Glover, EVR, and CT Pan.
Damn. It's a pretty good lineup.
Yeah, that's workable for stars and scrubs, right?
Yeah. I mean, those guys have. I mean, who could you see not finishing in the top 20 there?
I mean, Glover or Van Roen, maybe. Yeah. But outside of that, this could be a 6-for-6 lineup, in my opinion, for sure.
Yeah.
But if you say you take Rahm out of the lineup, because that obviously saves you a lot. Put Cam Smith in there. Okay. That puts $1,500 left on the board. So that means either I can upgrade CT Pan to someone near 9K, or I could spread it out and get these two 6K guys out of the lineup. Let's just say CT Pan out of the lineup. Then all of a sudden I could put Riley or Berger in there. You like Berger. We'll put Berger just for you since you like Berger a lot. So now I got an 85, a 92, 99. I got 4 guys over 8,500 in this lineup. Do you like this any better?
I think that's a good build for this week. I kind of like that.
Do you? I'm just trying to theorize here, ways to, balance out such a strong field. And
it's tough, man. I think stronger fields are tougher. I like the fields with more volatility, where it's like, I love the fall swing where you might just have like 5 guys who are in the top 50 and then just a bunch of nobodies.
Yeah.
I think these are kind of sneaky tough. I love them, but
they really challenge you. Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to theorize there and see how it goes. I mean, it makes it really tough. It really does. But like I said, I don't know if I'm going to be building a bunch of balanced 79 to 8,500 lineups. I feel like you kind of got to get. I mean, you look at it. Last 5 years, it's been Cantley / Rahm, Cantley, Bryson, and then Duffner back in 2017. 4 of the last 5 guys that won this event, and whether you put Cantley or Rahm last year in it, are all top tier guys.
Yeah,
so
but
it's not like Erik van Rooyen's going to win. I kind of feel like you have to have one of those top guys.
I do think by Wednesday, the majority are going to go super balanced build. So I think a great pivot would be to go, star and scrub.
I hate calling it stars and scrubs too.
Totally. It's like, hey, you're in a pro tournament, you're a scrub. Like, hey, go fuck yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, Jason Duffner is not a scrub. He has won a major tournament.
Yeah, totally.
Luke Donald was a former world #1. He's not a scrub.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. I hate that when people are like, oh, this feels garbage. It's like, what the fuck? When was the last time you broke 80?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've never broken 90, let alone 80. So, you know what? We won't even get into that there.
Yeah.
All right. So you do a lot of lineups. Do you bet at all, or do you just stick to just the DFS end of it?
I wish I could bet. I'm in Cali, though, so we can't.
True. I mean, you don't have an illegal hookup for that stuff?
No, I've reached out, and no one's taking the bait.
All right. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm in PA. I'm trying to move to Florida with my wife, and the only thing that's slowing me down is the fact that they don't accept betting.
That's the only thing.
I said, well, no, it's not the only thing. I got a pizza shop. I can't move till I sell my pizza shop. So
right. I love explaining that to your wife. Like, I can't pull this trigger yet, babe. Not until
that's keeping her happy because she's not ready for that move ever. So I do have bets. I do have a pretty big outright card. I try to keep the
What's your outright?
I normally have 3 or 4 outrights. I've got 6 this week. Okay, I mentioned a few. I got Rory. I'm all in on Rory this week.
What'd you get him at?
Only 11 to 1. I don't even care. I put 3 units on him. So I love Rory's chance of winning. I love Matthew Fitzpatrick to win. Matthew Fitzpatrick will win a golf tournament this year, I think.
Sketches.
So I got him at 25 to 1. I got Young 40 to 1. He might not get my player pool, but I wasn't going to not bet him at 40-1. And Davis Riley 61, Fowler 100-1. And I bet a small portion of a unit on CT Pan 150-1.
There we go. I like that.
Yeah, they're my bets this week. I haven't looked at the top 20 board yet. I haven't looked at top 10s or first round leaders. Kind of just wait until I kind of get a better feel of what I'm doing to bet those. So yeah, it'd be really boring without being able to bet sports, man.
Yeah,
I don't know what I would do, man.
I'd be so fucked.
You'd be living in your parents' basement, with no walls up, and
so dark.
Yeah, it would be rough for sure. That's why you got to bet responsibly. You got to bet responsibly, people. You don't want to get out of hand. I've been there. You don't want to do that. That is definitely bad for business when you get out of hand.
That's a great Norm Macdonald story about his gambling, and someone he lost it. It was his biggest, worst loss, completely cleared him out. And someone came up to him and like, "What's wrong with Norm?" And he just goes, "Mark Brunell."
There's a name. There's a name.
What an obscure.
Should have been an Eagle quarterback. They tried to draft him and they just missed out on him. Should have been an Eagle.
That's upsetting.
Yeah, it is. That's crazy. That's actually my biggest loss, Scotty, was not actually on a game. It was the bookie that I was betting with screwing me out of the money he owed me. And he's like, "What are you going to do? Call the cop?" And I'm like, I guess not. So that's why I bet tiny. That's why I take I do dollar lineups. I do $1, $3, $5 bets.
Yeah.
And even though it's legal and DraftKings isn't going to screw me, so to say, I just take it fun. Because when I got screwed out of a bucket of money from my bookie,
that just gave me chills. That's so brutal.
Late 90s, early 2000. And then after he wouldn't pay me, he sent his runner to my place of work saying, "What are your bets this week?" I'm like, "No, the boy wouldn't give me the money he owes me." And he's like, "Oh, well, he's just throwing out money this week."
I've never heard that. I've never heard of. It's the other way around.
His exact words: "What are you going to do? Call the cops? You were illegal betting with me, and I'll break your kneecaps if you call the cops on me." So I never. So I literally went from 2002 or one, whenever this happened, till betting was legalized in PA a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
I didn't place a single bet on a single sporting event. For that. Have
you ever heard or seen of this person again, or
never heard of him? And one of my coworkers was the one that set me up with him, and I don't talk to that guy anymore either. He wouldn't talk to me either because he kind of felt bad. I mean, I was a 21, 22-year-old just out of college, and that 8-9K that he owed me would have been nice.
$9,000?
That was 8-9K, something like that. Yeah, I was trying to take my girlfriend at the time on a cruise, and I needed a big chunk of change, and he wouldn't pay it for me.
Yeah. Phil, that's brutal.
It is brutal, and that's why I don't bet big anymore, man. It takes the fun out of it, man. Takes the fun out of it, man. Completely. Yeah. That's the first time I've told that story live on the air, man.
That's first a great time. Story.
I hope he's listening right now. You still, with interest, that 8-9K is probably worth like 14K.
The juice is still running, fella.
Yeah, man. Dude, what's the interest rate in the inflation on 8-9K over 22 years?
Brutal.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's insane. No. So no. I didn't owe him 8 to 9K. I was winning, and he owed me 8 to 9K.
The other way around. Yeah.
Totally the other way around there on that one there, bud. Anyway, anything else you got, man? I appreciate your time, man. This has been a blast. So,
I'm so grateful. I hope Sully can get back on here soon. But also,
Sully will be back next week. He already said, dude, he will be back next week. Can't wait. The world is not right with Sullivan. Not
You two together is always so great. You guys, you do a lot. And I always tell this to all the podcasters and writers and content people, it means a lot, man. Like going through the week or listening to shows, like especially during, like we were talking before we were on, like, it helped me a lot. Just having something to look forward to, listening to people, seeing their tweets and just shooting the shit. And it's fun and it's great. So I really appreciate what you do.
He's saying he understood. He's saying I didn't bet for 20 years, so that's why I came out ahead. I don't know, man. I had a good run going there a really good
year. You like the best heartfelt compliment. You're talking to Hingo? Hingo, what are you doing?
I don't even know who he is. You know Hingo? Who's Hingo?
I don't know.
Man, I was on a roll. I was on a heater with pro football and college basketball back then. Like a real heater, man. So it cost me.
Well, thank you for what you do. It means a lot to me.
Yeah. Thank you, Scotty. Thank you for coming on,
buddy. I appreciate it.
This has been a blast. Awesome. Anytime you want to come on. Anytime.
A lot, man. Thank you so much.
You want to come on, you're bored on a Tuesday night, you send me a message. It doesn't matter what time the show's scheduled. I will adjust the show time to have you back on.
That means the world to me, man. Anytime you need me, I'm here, bud. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Fairway to Heaven tonight. Tuesday nights always. Make sure you're following us on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, everything. Share this show out because we're gonna make Scotty famous this week by being on this show. No, Scotty's gonna make me famous for being on this show this week.
Yes, my 200 followers.
Hey, it doesn't matter. It's 200 effective followers, my
That's right. That's right, baby. Thank you, man.
I love you, man. Thank you very much, man. Everybody have a great night, a great week. Be well, be positive. Let's make some money. And have just a great week, everybody. I'll be back live tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. with my man Dylan for Trending in the AM. So, again, stay locked into DSM Media, man. It never stops. Y'all have a great night.